In this tutorial, I'm going to be giving you an overview of the Divi full width header module, which is one of the most versatile modules in the Divi collection because it has so many different layout possibilities. And I think you'll find yourself using the full width header module for various situations throughout your website, and maybe not even just for headers. So the most basic application of the header module is to place some header text at the very top of your page. And in this case, this page is a perfect example of a page that's in need of a header because between my blurbs here and the menu, there's really nothing to signify what this page is about. So if someone lands on this page, they're going to be quite confused, having to read paragraphs of text to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to want to give this a nice title, maybe welcome them to my page, and the full width header module is the perfect way to do that. So I'm going to edit this page to bring up the Divi Builder. And then I'm going to add a new full width section because since we're dealing with a full width header module, it needs to be placed inside of a full width section. So I add that full width section, drag it to the top of the page, click Insert Module, and look for the full width header module. And it's going to bring up the full width header module settings, of which there are quite a few. But in its most basic form, you only need to fill out a couple of these settings, which is the title, which is the main header text. So I'm just going to say, welcome to my website. I'm going to give some subheading, which is like a smaller bit of text below the title, and this is optional, but I'm going to add it in this case. And then you're going to want to give your text a text color, whether it be light or dark, and probably assign a background color to the module as well, if you so choose. And in this case, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make my text color light and then give my full width header a purple background color. And there we have it. We have a very basic header here. Just some text and a background color, and it's going to span the full width of the page since it is a full width header module. And so let me show you what that looks like. So we have it. And this is a great way to kind of just to introduce your visitors to the page using the full width header module. And so now that I've shown you kind of like the most basic application, let's explore a lot of those other settings to see how this module can be expanded in so many different ways. So I'm going to go back here and take a look at some of these other settings and explain to you what they do. First, we have text and logo orientation. This is going to affect where your text is located on the page, whether it be left, right, or center. So I could center it if I wanted, or put it to the right. In this case, I'm going to make it centered. Next is the full screen option. What this will do is automatically extend the module to be the full height and the full width of the screen. And so no matter what size your browser window is, that module is going to adapt to the size. And this is a great way to kind of create what is a very common like splash screen effect on the home page of your website, where you create this full screen kind of introductory block, and it fills the whole screen, and it makes it really easy for your visitors to digest what's going on the page. They see your title, your logo, maybe like a button, a call to action button to either scroll down the screen or sign up to your service or whatever you're trying to do. So I'm going to make this full screen just to give you an idea what that looks like, and I'm going to save just what I have there because those are two pretty big changes. So I'm going to show you what that does exactly. And so when I go back to my page, this is what we had before. I'm going to refresh, and it's going to make this text centered, and it's also going to make it full screen. So there you go. It gets centered both vertically and horizontally. It gets placed in the center. And this is just like a beautiful way to be introduced to a website. It's very simple and very clear to the visitor. And then they can scroll down to see the rest of the website. And like I said, if you make this browser smaller, it's all going to adapt automatically on the fly. So now let's take a look at a few of the other options. Moving down here, we can add a scroll down button. That's just like a little arrow that appears at the bottom of the section, just to remind your visitors that there's more content down there to explore. That even though it looks like this full screen is all that's there, maybe they don't notice there's a scroll bar on the right. Well, we can add a little nice icon there, and that's gonna tell them to go downward, and also if they click it, it's gonna automatically bring them down to the next section. So let's turn that on and just choose kind of a standard down arrow icon. You can also add a button. So if you want to add a button and have it do something, for example, if whatever service you have, you want to invite them to sign up to your service, request a quote or whatever, this is a great place to do that. So I'm going to say request a quote today. I'm going to add a URL. And you can add 2 buttons. So you can also add a second button if you like, but I'm just going to do the one for now. And you can upload a background image too. So if you decide you'd rather have a background image instead of a background color, that's fine. And if you do upload a background image, you can also do a background color overlay over that image. So in this case, let's say I'm going to choose a nice background image here, maybe this image of this woman in the field. And I want to like maybe put an overlay over that to tone it down a little bit, and so my text shows up a little better. Because I think right now the white text over this light yellow image is going to be hard to read, and so we can just put an overlay on top of that. And I'm just going to make it, let's see here, give it kind of a blue-gray color like this. I'm going to bring down the alpha transparency there, maybe to around 50%. And then we'll see what that looks like. And then I probably want to make this something a little bit less vibrant. And you can also choose to use a parallax effect. So if you turn that on, you're going to be able to choose between 2 parallax methods, true parallax or CSS. And what that does is kind of create an illusion of movement and depth as you scroll down the page. The parallax image in the background will move at a slightly different pace than you're scrolling. And like I said, it creates that illusion of depth. And so I'm going to save and exit and take a look at what we've created so far. So if you remember, this is what we had before, and what I changed here is that I added a background image, I added a button, and I added an overlay color. So if we refresh, we're going to take a look at that. See, I have my image, and you can see it's been kind of muted and toned down by that kind of blue-gray overlay at 50% opacity. I have a button here. It's kind of a standard button. And I also have this scroll down button, and when you click this, you're going to be brought down to the next step. And like I said, it has a parallax effect attached to it, so you can see that the image is just moving at a slightly different pace, and it just creates this really nice subtle effect there. So moving back to these options, there's a few more things to consider. One is that you, in addition to your logo or to your text, you can also upload a logo image. And what a logo image is it's an image placed above your text. And so if you have an image you'd like to place above your text, you can do that. So I have like just a nice Divi logo here, and I can upload that, and that'll be placed above the text. You can also choose your vertical alignment, which there's vertical and horizontal alignment settings, but vertical alignment is where your text and logo are centered vertically. And I'm going to keep that centered because I think that looks quite nice. So I'm going to save. And maybe we'll explore a different vertical alignment in a moment. So I've added that logo image. You can see it gets placed above the text. Moving on to some more settings. In addition to having a logo image, which is typically a smaller image placed above your text, you can have a larger image placed below your text as well, or to the right or the left of your text, depending on how your text and image are oriented. And so that would be the header image. So I can upload a header image as well. And you can upload any image you like, so I'm just going to choose this. And since I'm uploading an image, I'm probably going to want to tone down that background a bit more. So I'm going to bring down the opacity here. Make it a little more muted. And then I've added a header image, which is going to be placed below my text. And then I can choose the vertical alignment, which I'm going to keep that centered for now. And then in addition, you can add a paragraph of text as well to be placed below your main title and subhead. So I'll do that next, but let's just take a look at what this header image looks like. So now when I refresh, I have this header image placed below the logo and the title, and I've really bumped up that background overlay, which looks a lot nicer now. So we just have a very, very subtle background image and then this header image below it. Now, like I said, you can change the alignment of these things too. So if you want to put your text and logo to the left or right, you can do that as well. So let's try putting it to the left and see what kind of new effect that creates. So here we have it centered, and when we put it to the left, it's going to be placed to the left of the image. And so in this case, when I'm trying to put so much content in the header, sometimes this looks nicer, just depending on how big your logo image is. Maybe if my logo image was a little smaller, it might fit a little better above that image. Or if this image was a little bit less tall, it might fit a little better centered. In this case, this right and left orientation looks quite nice. Now, in addition to being able to control where this is located, you can also control where this image is located independently of where the text and logo is located. And so you'll notice there are a couple different vertical alignment settings. One's for the text and logo, and then one is for the image. So you move down here, image vertical alignment, and you can choose centered or bottom. And if I choose bottom, it's going to always stick to the bottom of the section, which is nice if you want to create that effect. Like often this is used to kind of create the illusion that the image is sitting behind the section below it. Like maybe you have like an iPad or an iPhone or something, and it's coming up, from below this section. That's how you would do that. You choose the bottom alignment, especially when you combine that with a parallax background image like we have here. It really looks like that the image is kind of sitting below the section below it. And so that's quite a cool effect. And so you can see how you can kind of combine these different settings to create a bunch of different layouts. You can have actually over 20 different layouts. You can have the text left, right, top, bottom, vertically aligned in different locations, and you can have the image independently vertically aligned in different locations as well. And depending on how you combine that, you might get the image in the left, image in the left center, logo on the right, logo centered, and so on. So yeah, that's a basic overview of the header module general settings. And there's also a ton of advanced settings that you can use as well. And I'm not going to go over all of these right now. If you'd like to learn more about our advanced design settings, be sure to check out our advanced design settings tutorial, as well as our custom CSS settings tutorial. But as a general philosophy, everything you need to create a really great full width header module is already in the general settings. But if you want like additional control, you really want to customize it, then you can move on to the advanced design settings and kind of tweak things using all of the advanced design controls that we've created here. For example, we can customize everything about the button and the size of the font, and the fonts themselves, the font styles, and all of that great stuff. So yep, that's a basic overview of the full width header module.